The playground was loud. Children laughing. Shoes scraping gravel. A whistle blowing somewhere in the distance. It was the safest place I could imagine. That's why the sound didn't make sense at first. It wasn't loud like in movies. It wasn't dramatic. It was just a sharp crack, followed by screaming. And then my daughter stopped moving. Parents are always calculating risk, even when they pretend not to be. We decide which streets are safe. Which schools feel right. Which places we allow our children to exist freely. For me, the school playground was sacred ground. Cameras. Teachers nearby. Other parents watching. Nothing bad was supposed to happen there. My daughter Lena loved that playground. She wasn't fast. She wasn't loud. But she laughed harder than any kid I knew. She climbed slowly, carefully, always checking her balance. She trusted that place. So did I. Karen had been watching us long before that day. I noticed her at HOA meetings. At the sidewalk. At pickup time. Always watching. Always counting. She hated that Lena needed accommodations at school. Extra time. Extra help. Extra patience. She's disruptive, Karen once said casually, as if talking about trash day. She's a child, I replied. Karen smiled thinly. Rules apply to everyone. That was her favorite sentence. Karen didn't just enforce rules. She used them. She filed complaints about accessible ramps. She objected to noise from school events. She argued that children like Lena lowered standards. Every complaint failed. Every rejection made her angrier. She believed authority meant entitlement. And entitlement, unchecked, becomes something darker. It was a school day like any other. Blue sky. Warm air. Parents chatting near the fence. I stood near the edge of the playground, coffee cooling in my hand, watching Lena carefully climb the steps to the slide. She waved at me. I waved back. That moment, that wave, is burned into my memory. Because seconds later, the sound shattered everything. The crack cut through the air. Children froze. Then chaos exploded. Screams. Teachers shouting. Kids running in every direction. I dropped the cup before I realized I'd moved. Lena was on the ground. Not crying. Just still. My body reacted before my mind did. I reached her. Held her. She was conscious. Confused. Terrified. Daddy, she whispered. That whisper is the only reason I didn't lose control. As teachers pulled children inside and parents screamed names, I looked up. Karen stood near the fence. Not screaming. Not panicking. Watching. Her face wasn't shocked. It was furious. That's when I understood something I didn't want to believe. This wasn't an accident. The school locked down instantly. Sirens arrived faster than I thought possible. Medical responders moved with practiced speed, calm voices cutting through panic. I stayed with Lena, talking to her softly, keeping her focused on my voice. She held my hand tightly. I promised her something I intended to keep. You're not alone. Not ever. Police separated witnesses. Teachers gave statements. Parents cried. And then someone pointed. Karen was still there. Not helping. Not crying. Arguing. I had a right to be there, she insisted. They let dangerous people roam free. An officer asked her to step aside. She refused. That refusal changed everything. Security footage didn't lie. Witnesses didn't contradict each other. Karen hadn't been defending herself. She hadn't been threatened. She had brought violence into a place designed to protect children. The word deliberate entered the conversation. The atmosphere shifted. This was no longer a local incident. This was a serious threat. The school district initiated emergency protocols. Nearby streets were sealed. Karen disappeared. And that's when fear turned into something heavier. Because she was no longer contained. I heard the word before I believed it. SWAT. This wasn't standard procedure. This was escalation. Karen was considered armed. Dangerous. Unstable. The neighborhood emptied. Helicopters circled. I sat beside my daughter's hospital bed, holding her hand, listening to updates I never wanted to hear. They found her hiding less than 2 miles away. She didn't surrender peacefully. That detail matters. Because it proved what many already suspected. This wasn't about rules. This was about control collapsing. SWAT officers arrested her without further harm. No chaos. No spectacle. Just accountability. News spread fast. HOA president arrested after school playground shooting. People asked questions they should have asked sooner. How long had she been escalating? How many warnings were ignored? How many complaints were dismissed as harmless? Silence had protected her. Until it couldn't. Lena recovered slowly. She asked hard questions. Why did she hate me? There is no good answer to that. So I gave her the truth. Some people confuse power with worth. And when they lose power, they break. She nodded, like she understood more than I wanted her to. I didn't look at Karen when she entered the courtroom. I didn't need to. The evidence spoke clearly. Witnesses spoke bravely. The playground footage played silently. That silence was louder than any scream. Charges stacked quickly. Serious charges. Permanent consequences. No amount of HOA authority could protect her now. She wasn't special. She was accountable. The HOA board resigned within days. Policies were rewritten. Oversight was imposed. The system that allowed her behavior was dismantled piece by piece. Too late for some. Not too late for others. Danger doesn't always look dangerous. Sometimes it wears a clipboard. Sometimes it hides behind rules. Sometimes it convinces others it's harmless. Until it isn't. Lena returned to the playground months later. She held my hand tightly. Then she let go. And ran. That was her victory. Children deserve safety without conditions. Authority must answer to humanity. And silence is never neutral. Because when good people say nothing, someone like Karen speaks louder. Until the law speaks louder still.